According to a report in yesterday's Guardian from Jacob Steinberg, who's a journalist who's also a West Ham fan with really, really good contacts inside the club, David Sullivan is going to have to choose between David Moyes and Tim Steidten. And I guess I'm not entirely surprised by that. I'm going to get into Steinberg's article in just a second. Please don't shoot the messenger. It's not my story. It's not my story at all. But I do believe it. I just want to say that. Before I do that, I'm going to stop bleating about the media and the perception and the vilification of West Ham fans as from today. But I just sort of wanted to have the final word on it, really, because it's quite a strange phenomenon, really, to witness it. Basically being told how grateful we should be. The one I hate most is short memories. Short memories. Stephen Warnock was on it yesterday over on Sky Sports News. West Ham fans got short memories, don't they? Don't they remember Prague? I mean, that's an insult. That's an insult, and he's doing it to make a point because he knows. He believes one or two things. He either believes there's this mass collective amnesia and no West Ham fans remember Prague. He knows that's not the case. Or he's basically lying to make a point, isn't he? And basically saying we're ungrateful. I don't know why he just doesn't say it. Do you know what? He's saying it because he hasn't quite got the bottle to fully say, West Ham fans, you're wrong and you're ungrateful. So he sort of touches around the edges of it. He sort of hints at it, really. Without really ever thinking that it's entirely possible to be to have enjoyed what happened in Prague, to be grateful for the trophy, but also to see it as what it is was, basically a really, really good point at the end of a season where we were basically in and fighting relegation all season. Anyway, that doesn't matter. The other thing that happened was I felt that Nicky, West Ham Fan TV, was, I thought he handled himself very, very well. Sort of hijacked a little bit by TalkSport. I mean, they were all at it. All of the media are at it. They really are at the moment. As I say, the vilification of West Ham fans. So I think they sort of, they clearly lined Nicky up. Probably thought he was going to be easy pickings. He wasn't. Jeff Stelling did that thing that I keep talking about, this binary thing. It's either that or that, like there's no nuance at all. Jeff Stelling turned around and said, well, something along the lines of, would you rather play the football, like defensive football, and win trophies, or play attacking football and get relegated, or something like that? It was words to that effect. I was really pleased Nicky turned around and said, well, they're not exclusive, mate. And actually that shut him up, up until the point when Nicky got off the radio, and then he started chirping up again. I feel like the media, we're being told by the media, you do not have a valid opinion. How dare you? Basically, pay up, shut up, watch and enjoy it. How dare you? They're not doing themselves any favours at all. And I don't think they're doing David Moyes any favours either, because there's this perception that David Moyes is having his mates, his chums, rallying round behind him and supporting him, but not just supporting him, having a pop at West Ham fans. It ain't a good look for the manager when it looks like he's sort of his mates in the media are having a go at West Ham fans on his behalf. Because by the way, let me just say, I don't think he's asked them. I don't think David Moyes has asked the media to have a go at West Ham fans on his behalf, but it just ain't a good look. Anyway, that's my final say on it. If you've got to go and check it out. It's not on West Ham Fan TV. It's on Talk Sports YouTube channel. Go and have a look. You'll find it easy enough. Okay, Jacob Steinberg's article. Basically, I'll just read a little excerpt from it now. He said, however, there's growing concern that Steidten, who was previously at Bayer Leverkusen, is not happy in East London and could walk away in the summer. Sources believe he is frustrated with the way that West Ham operate and feels that he has not been given enough power. This could change if West Ham decide to part company with Moyes, whose contract expires at the end of the season. Steidten is expected to be in favour of appointing a new manager. West Ham have considered Graham Potter, Lopetegui, Fonseca, Thomas Tuchel. All bad choices, as you know. I think I've said that already on this channel, and I'm not going to justify it now. Go and look back in the last week or so. I think I've justified why we shouldn't go for every single one of those, and it just probably shows that it ain't particularly good. I'm very, very sure that Tim Steidten wouldn't select any of those either. So basically, it goes on to say, the article, that it's expected Steidten's thinking could change if he plays a leading role in any hunt for a new coach. Well, What can I say? It goes on to say that he's made significant appointments in the recruitment department. He's brought in his brother, Moritz Steidten, as head of international scouting and recruitment. Internal scouting would be very good, wouldn't it? Have you seen that left back? He's called Aaron Cresswell. International scouting and recruitment. He's hired Maximilian Hahn as head of technical recruitment analysis. So I think like Steidten's putting together this team. Sullivan's got a decision to make. Basically, it seems to me, if we are to believe this article, and I think there's huge elements to believe in this article, he's going to have to either choose Steidten or he's going to have to choose David Moyes and lose one of them. I don't think there is any way that he keeps hold of David Moyes and he retains Tim Steidten, which brings us back to the whole concept of recruiting Steidten in the first place. Why bother? If you're not going to give him the power, if you're going to appoint a director of football, you'd better be completely behind the director of football model. To appoint one, you have to be, I think, of the belief that the old system of an omnipotent manager is defunct. That what you want to do is go with, I call it modern, it's been happening for 20, 30 years all over the rest of Europe, but let's call it a more modern concept where a head coach is in charge of the first team and a director of football oversees everything else, including the recruitment of players. The reason for doing so is that you bring in, you're able to recruit a certain style of player, and when you go, even if the head coach doesn't work out, you can recruit another head coach who is similar in style to the previous one, so you're not suddenly looking for a whole different type of footballer. I think if you're going to accept that that's the direction you want to go in, then you absolutely have to let him have some power. And Steidten's frustrated he doesn't have enough power. I think this is easily spun that Steidten's power craze. I'm not saying Jacob Steinberg's doing that. He's not spinning it in that way at all. In fact, reading between the lines and reading what he's been writing recently, I still have to go and hunt it out. I'm still banned by Jacob Steinberg on Twitter, I've noticed. I have to get sent his stuff by other people. I'm still on the naughty step. But I don't know why. I quite like him. I think he's a good journalist. Anyway, I'm having my bum smacked. The eternal bum smacking. That's what I'm getting. Come on, Jacob. Throw us a bone, mate. Unblock. Let's make it easy. I get sent it anyway. So he's basically... I don't think he's trying to make out that Steidten is power crazed. I really don't. I think what he's doing is he's just telling it as it is. And Steidten needs more power in order to be able to function within the parameters of his job. He's operating with one hand tied behind his back. I can certainly make a case for... Look, Gio did a video yesterday about Lopetegui. Graham Potter's last job he failed at. Fonseca has said he never stays more than 2 years at one place. His stats are massively boosted by his time at Shakhtar, as I mentioned before. Thomas Tuchel, everyone wins at Bayern Munich, apart from in wins the league at Bayern Munich, apart from Thomas Tuchel, it seems, who didn't do so well at Chelsea either. As I mentioned before, I just think there are a number of good players, be it Michel up in Spain or what's his name, Almiron, something like that, isn't it? At Sporting Lisbon, Ruben. There are other upcoming coaches who would be better suited to West Ham, and I think that's what we need to do. Basically, all we're seeing with people like Fonseca and at the next round of Rafa Benitez is we always seem to be antiquated. We always seem to be a number of years behind in our managerial thinking. And, of course, that's one of the reasons why you'd hire a director of football, because he knows his stuff, right? He knows who they're going to be. We've been left in a bit of a pickle here. If we are to be believed, a number of players were offered to David Moyes in the transfer window. Now, you can only assume that they were offered or suggested by Tim Steidten. The vast majority of them were turned down. I'd like to think we wouldn't be in this predicament that we're in if we'd have had a few more players in. The squad is absolutely threadbare, as we've discussed on numerous occasions on this channel, and probably every other bloody channel. I mean, everyone knows it, don't they? Around every channel, every podcast, every article, every table in the boozer, everybody knows that West Ham's squad is too thin, apart from probably the one person that counts. I just think it's time that Steidten is allowed to build the squad in his vision. And if you don't believe in Steidten's vision, what was the point in appointing him in the first place? If you were just going to take half of it, just bits, just playing at it. I don't think Sullivan realises quite how close he is himself to being under immense pressure. I think he feels that he's got luxury of time. He possibly has done. As I say, I think from Sullivan's point of view, he's probably looking at us fans thinking, you lot know nothing. You had all this last season, and look what happened, we won a trophy. And I can understand why he's thinking that. I really can. But I don't think he's reading the room. I really don't. And I can see he's going to need to sort this situation out. He really is. Otherwise, there's going to come a point where he hasn't made a decision on the manager's future. Not everybody else works to his time plan, his time scale. David Moyes has a reputation for indecision. I would suggest Sullivan's the same. It's a match made in hell. Normally partnerships, be it business partnerships, romantic partnerships, whatever the case may be, if you've got two people in it, one of them fills in the flaws of the other person. So if you have someone that is indecisive and can't make a decision, but, is a careful planner, maybe the other person is a little bit impulsive and acts quickly, and maybe those two things balance each other out. What we don't have that, we've got the two people making the decisions are both ditherers and both indecisive, but they have to realise that not everybody works to their timescale, and it may well be that Tim Steidten just says, no, I've had enough. A lot of the players think, I'm not waiting around. But the team should be built now. We're in a process where we're going to hear next season about another rebuilding project. 4 years and 450 million. I'm not feeling a lot of appetite for another rebuilding project, to be fair. Not by the same person who should have done it. It should be done by now. Maybe he did. Maybe the end of it was last season. Maybe that just was the end of the arc. That was the end of the journey. That was the culmination of his build. And if so, what a successful build it was. Numerous European football, a trophy. But if the rebuild is being done now, I'd suggest quite possibly not the person that you would entrust to do it. So it's not just Tim Steidten might not work to his timescale. You may well find that the fans are not prepared to do so. As I do wonder if there's going to be a season ticket renewal up before the decision is made on the manager. And I know this because I've heard it before from the ownership. There's sometimes a surprise that there's not an immediate uptake in season tickets. And if they are going to be surprised, they shouldn't be surprised because they've had every little pointer, if you want, every little bit of indication that people walking out the stadium is. You don't need to do a poll. You don't need to collate any data. Your data's there. You can see it. People have had enough. Well, you all know that. Look, we're watching this. I'm presuming 99.9% of people watching this are West Ham fans. You're West Ham fans. You either go to the games yourself or you know people that go to the games. If you do, you will know people who have said, I don't know if I'm going to bother for next season. So if they're going to pontificate and they're going to delay about making a decision on David Moyes' future, you cannot expect people to commit. Even if you are pro-Moyes, even if you are absolutely pro-Moyes, you're still going to want to know. Maybe you're only going to take a ticket if Moyes is there. You're still going to want to know, aren't you? And I do understand this whole thing about support the team throughout. And I think most do. But what there are not, I don't think, are... I think that was the case at Upton Park. 34,000 fans or whatever. I think you could rely on that. When you were asking for increasingly more, and as we understand it, next season, 67,000 fans. What? Wind, rain or shine? I don't think so. They're asking for a lot of... they're asking for a lot of fans who traditionally haven't attended West Ham to attend that stadium. I think that's a big ask if you're not going to, provide... Not even about entertainment, provide clarity about the direction of the club. And that's all they're doing. They're basically asking... What they're saying is, the board are saying, trust us. Trust us. Well, they've got a problem there, really, because not everybody does.